All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. My name is Francoise from the Caribbean island of Antigua and Barbuda, and I'm the CEO of Francoise Acting Studio Antigua. And I'm pleased to have Mr. Corey Reese from Atlanta, Georgia, and he'll be sharing with us some insights about photography, the new way with now coronavirus wanting to be our best friend. And and so he's going to share with us exactly what we need to do, how to be safe, and also how to pivot in this time going forward to grab any opportunity that is coming right now, especially for us filmmakers, photographers. There's so much thing that you can do right now. So he's going to share them with us. And Corey, you can
Yes.
also introduce yourself because I think I missed a lot of things about you, but you
Oh
can go
no,
ahead.
you're good. Well, definitely happy everybody was able to hop on. And like you said, my name is Corey Reese, photographer, cinematographer, also really a marketing expert that I've kind of gotten into as of late in terms of, because I think any business that you go in, whether you're doing photos, videos, or whatever it is, like marketing is really at the center of being able to make that business thrive and obviously get in front of people that can use your services. So that's kind of really what I've been focused on as of late. But obviously I've been in the industry. I started off really funny enough playing football through college on a full scholarship. So I thought I was gonna make it to the NFL, didn't make it. When I graduated, have a degree in computer information systems and end up doing modeling, you know, from modeling to picking up a camera and from picking up a camera to leaving a corporate job as an IT professional in 2006. To walk away from that and pursue my dream as an entrepreneur and a photographer. And it just continued to spin. Like I always tell people, it's like that parable in the Bible where the guy that buried his talents, he grabbed that talent and gave it to the people that had other one. I think that's me. The people, if you don't use your talent, guess what? I'm coming to get it from you if you don't want it. So I think God continues to just bless my efforts through just, you know, being persistent and just being clear about what I want to create and, you know, what I want for my life and my family and people around me.
All right. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
indeed.
So let us know what you're doing on your end because I know you have a lot of things on your Instagram page, a lot of photos. So
Mm-hmm.
you can proceed and tell us how you've been um how have you been taking your photos with the clients before,
Mm-hmm.
during, after, you know, things like that. So go ahead. I'm not going to
Got
say
you.
anything
Okay.
else. I'm going to leave you to take the floor.
No, you're good. And then I want you to kind of curate too, just so I can make sure we're covering the topics that we need. But
Oh,
in terms of transitioning or just, I think my whole thing is that it's funny when people are like being extra clean and with the sanitize. I'm like, you should have already been clean, nasty. You know what I'm saying? So if you already clean, you don't have much to do. But I think because of everything that's going on, you definitely want to make sure that you're cleaning up after yourself and the people that's in the space before and after you're doing shoots, just making sure that you're able to keep a safe environment because you don't want to be oblivious to what's going on, but obviously respecting what's happening. And just really putting yourself and your clients in best position. And I think the photographer's in a good situation because you got to think about the nature of how we take pictures. We're not right on top of somebody, right? We already have social distancing in place with, you know, when we're taking the photos and that type of thing. So I think, I know you kind of asked, like, how are you letting the people are you showing the people your camera when you're taking the photos? So the good thing is, as you can see, like right now I have my actual camera hooked up to a surface. That's why my webcam looks like this. So I have a wireless connection where when I take a photo, it downloads to this tablet here and the client is able to see a preview of what's happening. And I typically let them see a couple shots and then I'll take it away just because they get distracted, you know, but I have seen that once I show them that first couple of photos because people are uneasy. And when you show them that first photo, they get comfortable and now you're getting better shots. And at the same time, from a social distance standpoint, I'm able to be away from them and they're able to see when I show them by looking at this particular tablet here. In terms of just like the upkeep and when people coming in, just kind of making sure you're doing a check. One of my friends, she's a nurse. They do have, if you want to really go deep, they do have thermometers that you can take somebody's temperature without actually touching them, but just close to the temple, just to make sure that people are feeling well, they're not running a fever, that type of thing, just to kind of making sure you're keeping people safe, that you're bringing on set. And I don't know about you guys, but most of my sets are, you know, obviously my shoots are by appointment only. So it's not like a herd of people that's crowding my space at any particular time. So it's always very small, maybe 1 or 2 people, makeup artists. My makeup artist today, she wore masks while she was doing the young lady's makeup. And then once she was done, she left and it was just me and the young lady. I was filming her. So I didn't have to be on top of her in terms of being close, in close quarters, so to speak.
Oh, okay. And so what about, you don't, I saw a sample where a photographer drafted up like a simple template for the client to sign, which is basically if they have the coronavirus or some way, if there's any way that they have it, the photographer can't be held liable or something to that effect. Should photographers have an agreement before with the client that you know, with this?
Well, you know what, I think when it comes to that, you know, from an agreement standpoint, I'm sure you maybe can find a template. I hadn't necessarily put together a template. I did when I had to go to the orthodontist about a week or so ago, actually 2 weeks. They had like a slight waiver that they wouldn't be held responsible if something was to happen, so to speak. So things like that, I guess we have to be mindful of just the people and the nature of what can happen. But I think long as you're kind of doing your checks, and ultimately if somebody is really cared, and I know with asymptomatics, if they don't really know, they don't have any symptoms and they're carrying it, that's something that we really can't control outside of like asking them if they feel okay, maybe taking a temperature, that type of thing. But in terms of legally, I don't know what can be done, like just being honest, you know what I mean, in terms of what that looks like from a legality standpoint.
Oh, okay. The other thing is for visual journalists, and how should they do their work, like for example in events that are happening, like you have protests that is happening right now in America. Like what advice can you give to visual journalists, like what they should do?
Yeah, I would definitely make sure that you protecting yourself. Plenty of people are making like little masks, that type of thing. And once again, because from a visual journalist standpoint, that's like the best scenario, because you like a visual journalist, almost like a sniper, right? You kind of like, you're catching the mix. You put your long lens on. You don't have to be in the crowds. You don't have to be right on top of people unless you just trying to get that close. But I think having a lens that you can kind of zoom in tight to the scenario, and also keeping yourself protected while you're out there amongst the people, basically, with the mask, and just making sure that you're conscious. If you are touching things, that you have some sanitizer close. So, because I think a lot of the times we get around people and we might touch something and we're touching our face the next second and we don't even think about it. So just kind of being mindful of that, be more conscious of your surroundings, what you're touching, and obviously having a mask, I think will help out in that regard.
Okay, so the question earlier concerning the notice, actually to call a notice on waiver sheet for a notice on waiver sheet, should the photographers then have their lawyers involved in this process as well too?
Yeah, if they have a lawyer that they can draft them up a document to protect them, I don't think it would be a bad idea. You know, but like I said, for me, you know, I'm planning for, you know, obviously I know what's happening right now, but I know eventually this is going to be past us, and then obviously new standards will be set in terms of just cleanliness. But I just feel like I've done a great job of keeping clean, and I think I'm just going to kind of do the same thing in that regard.
Okay, now hotels, as Mrs. Chin said earlier, tourism is actually everybody's business in the Caribbean on the whole. What advice can you give to the photographers to grab hold of with the marketing, as you mentioned that earlier? If you can give us more details with that, please, in pivoting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and I can kind of give you guys some resources in terms of where to look, just really understanding the basis and the deep down of what it means to market. At the end of the day, what I always tell people, this is different between marketing and selling. Selling is pushing something on somebody that they don't actually have a need for. Marketing is only putting together a service that somebody's actually in the need for. And that's really the difference between what makes marketing very impactful. When you have somebody that has a need, especially with the photographers, if your business was based on, the tourism and just if people are not really booking shoots, because I know in Atlanta, I didn't shoot like the entire month of April just because of everything that was going on. So in May, people began to kind of like start reaching back out about shoots. So I kind of came back out and start shooting in May. And then also in June, I've been shooting. But some of the stuff that I've been doing in that regard is, I think from an SEO standpoint, and I think somebody might have to mute their mic. Looks like it's
Yeah, mute mics, people, mute mics. Not certain who it says. I didn't. Okay, all right, go ahead, Corey.
Yep. So I think right now is the perfect time, especially because like the Caribbean if it's like obviously a tourist time and it's not a busy, like now is the perfect time to kind of revamp what you're doing. Maybe update your portfolio once again, grab some people, stay safe, of course, and redo the portfolio. From once everything picks back up in terms of people traveling, start looking into SEO. SEO meaning search engine optimization. What are people searching when they're looking for photographers, and try to start to optimize your site for those search words. I get probably like, a good bit of people that when they search for photographers in Atlanta, if anybody goes to Google right now and search for professional photographer in Atlanta, that type of thing, I come up on the first page. And I've been able to do that by understanding, hey, what are people searching for when they're looking for my services, and then intertwining that within my site, from my bio pages to how I name the galleries. So for example, fashion photography, the URL is coreyreesephotography.com/ fashion photography. So it has the keyword in the URL, you know what I mean? And then obviously, as I talk about branding a lot within my website. So just making sure that the stuff that you want to shoot, that you're embedding that within your actual website, and making sure that what you want people to reach out for you. If they go to your site, they're very clear about how you can actually help them with that particular service. And it's not, a toss up. Like if they're looking for somebody that shoots weddings, like the first thing they see when they go to your page, it should be a wedding. It shouldn't be a picture of a seashell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just making sure that you're keeping relevant images and content on a particular site. And then when you talk about digital marketing, right? And this can be a whole conversation by itself. We have so much power with the online platform to be able to advertise and get in front of people from all over the world, right? Like being able to sell t-shirts with cool sayings, to if everybody has a birthday, being able to now go into the back end of Facebook, they have set targeting of people by month. You can target people by their birthday month. I did that myself just as a test, guys. I spent about $300 and had all kind of inquiries of people, because what I did was I had a video of me doing a birthday shoot for a client, and I was advertising to people that had birthdays coming up. Hey, it's time to do something different, take care of yourself, kind of that type of thing. So you got to start.
That's a good way of. That's a good way. That's good.
Yeah, so it's so many different things that you can. I'm sure you guys have seen a shirt, people selling a t-shirt and it has your name on the shirt, and that's not by accident. You know what I'm saying? So I will have to probably give you guys some more resources to how to start looking into like paid advertising, just because it's like a very wide spectrum and it's easy to waste a lot of money without knowing what you're doing. But taking the time to learn through the right channels will be beneficial for you.
No, with fashion photography, because that is also one of your love. If you can give us more insight about that, please. And what has to do now than what you had to do before?
Gotcha. So this is how I've actually shifted. So if you go and read my bio, I'm actually talking about branding. So everything, even though I have different categories, fashion, business shots, things of that nature. Hey, everything is catered towards branding. So what I've been able to do, because I understand, like from a fashion standpoint, Atlanta, even though it's picking up as it relates to people in the industry from a fashion standpoint, Atlanta is never going to be a New York or LA or like a London, so to speak. So I understand like the people that need that particular service, they're more so models. Some of the models, and they investment in way more, but a lot of the times, a lot of those people are just getting started. You know what I mean? They don't necessarily have the budget. So what I've done is been able to now cater my business towards people that's looking to build a brand, to sell a service, to sell their service. And basically, once you do that, I've been able to do something pretty cool, because if you can leverage, how much is it worth to you to get to be able to reach your financial goal? Like, it really, you know, detrimental for you to pay my rate, and the reward for you paying my rate is to be able to exceed your expectation from an income perspective. It doesn't measure, right? So they see that as 10 times their investment. Now that's how I position it, right? Because now I can clear about why they need the photos, why is it important. Understanding that helps me talk to people a lot differently, because I understand it's not just about taking pretty pictures, but how do you plan to use these images? How would these images impact your business or your bottom line? Because if you got to think about it, people coming to you, they're looking for more clients for business, they're looking for whatever it is. You just got to find out what that is. Once you find what that is, I know one of your questions was like, do you actually negotiate? That's at your discrepancy. You know what I mean? At your, you know, you decide if you want to discount your price or not. To you the right way, and they said, you know what, I really want to work with you. Like, this is my budget we do. I can rock with that. You know what I'm saying? I'll do what I can do to help them. But if they just come to me and it's like, hey, you know, so-and-so down the street only charging $100 for 5 looks. And I'm just like, listen, that's a great deal. I go to so-and-so down the street, because I can't meet that budget. So I think just knowing your limits to what you will do and what you can't do, because I love helping people, and I've got to a place where it's not about the money for me, because I don't have to shoot it all, and I could still maintain my lifestyle. But I do it because I love it, and that lets me come at it from a different place. So if you feeling yourself like, man, like I have to shoot to pay the bills, and you kind of feeling that desperateness to yourself, just kind of really stop, guys. Really think about where you are, and just really settle your energy as it relates to that. Just start thinking about all the things that you want. What do you want? How will it look when people are reaching out to you from different places and not questioning your rate? Start focusing in on that, because the moment that you put yourself in fear, guys, like the more fear actually happens and it comes up on you. I'm sure you guys can attest to this. Whenever you are looking for a car or whatever that you might be interested in, that you're getting ready to buy it, so searching it, you start seeing it everywhere, right? Everywhere you look, you can't get away from it. That's the same thing about how we want to attract lives. So you focus on what you want to create. I'm not saying be oblivious and thinking, you know, you have this whole, oh, I'm rich, but then you like losing your house. But at the same thing where you are, and really focus on what it is that you want. And once you do that focus attention, now what do I need to be doing on the towards this?
All right. And I'm glad you mentioned that, like, with concerning the prices, because that was something that I mean, I'm going back to the notes here. Yeah, so it was like, don't be the village man who sees his neighbor selling a barbecue chicken for $5, and then you decide to sell yours for $1.50. You know, so it was like, you know, you have to know the quality and the value of your company, and also what you're trying to let persons see who you are. You know, so that was one of the notes that I have here. There was, let me see, what else? What are some of your oh, sorry, what is free market versus what is a monopoly? Free market and the monopoly. For example, you have a few persons that might be doing the same thing, like the photography, but then what if you have a main, let's say, a main company that do photography, but they offer other things and want to monopolize you? How do you tell persons that are upcoming, who are seasoned as well, hey, how can they grow even though there's that major competitor in front of them?
Gotcha. So that's a great question, and I always love when I get this, just because if you think about it, guys, any given product that you have, it's a lot of different brands within that market, right? When it comes to restaurants, when it comes to cameras, when it comes to the type of water, when it comes to the shoes that you wear, like, it's always going to be other people that do the same thing. But what I always tell people, like my photographers, name me one person that can service everybody that has a need, and I'll wait. Not one person on this call or in this world can service every. I don't care what your business is and how good you're at your business. Not one person can service every client. So understanding that, understand like, hey, every client is not for me, and just focus in on the people that you're meant to serve and do the best job that you can do for what you do, right? So with me focusing in on from a branding standpoint, that allows me, all of it is based around people that are using their likeness to get clients. So from there, if you think about somebody that is, let's just say, you know, somebody is shooting kids, all they do is shoot kids, right? And you have a general photographer that's shooting some of everything. Like they might have some kids, they have some adults that have this. If the most of the people are gonna go to which one? If they have a kid, they're looking for a kid photographer, which one would you go to? The person that all they see is kids, or the person that has some kids and some of everything on their website? So it's really, you know, at the end of the day, the people are going to go to the specialist. So it's different markets within that. What I always tell people is find out what you love to do, but it also needs to be a market that you can make money from, right? That you can actually, that people have a demand, meaning that people are searching for it. Don't go try to do a niche of taking pictures of and that people are not looking for that services, because now there's going to be more of a hobby because people are not demanding, they're not looking for that. So understand what is it, what are the different areas that people are searching and actually actively paying for. And if that's something that you love to do, then now you can kind of focus in on that. And the good thing about that is, guys, once you build a certain portfolio, I get people that reach out to me about weddings, and I have nothing about weddings on my website. That gives me the opportunity to be able to pick if I want to take that on or not, or maybe refer to somebody that specializes in weddings, just depending on how busy I am at the time. But because I stick to my gun and the consistency of my work, of my body at work, people see that and they're like, and I wonder if he will shoot this, right? So now don't think just because you're picking a genre that you're going to shut yourself off from all this other work, because I guarantee if you, you know, you want to be a master of something and not just have so many nails up and nothing, you're not booking or getting a lot of work in any of them. I would rather just be able to do one thing well. And then once I get that one thing well, you can always expand. So I think the difference is people have to understand, just because you pick a niche, guys, that does not mean that you can't shoot anything else. Okay.
All right. Anybody have questions that they want to ask Corey? You know, I need to rest my voice a little as well too. Anybody have questions that they want to ask Corey as well? Feel free to do it. You can do so now. Sorry, you can do so now.
Not questions. Not questions. I would just like to say that what he just said was very insightful, because I'm one of those people who try to do everything. I mean, I'm one of those artists who are into very different types of genres and styles. I do performance as well as writing, as well as painting, as well as designing, interior decor, all these things. And the thing is that you get caught up over the years because there's always a need for any of those or for all of those. So because you're caught up doing all of this, you're never able to find a niche. And it's hard for me. So what you just said, yes, even though it's hard, where you have to find that niche and say, well, look, I'm going to do this one until I get enough from it and still have room for the others, you know? So there is where I'm at, even though I'm in my 50s. I'm still trying to find my niche.
Gotcha. Well, I would say I would probably look at, like, if you did like an analysis in the last 3 to 6 months, like say, okay, what is it that I've done the most of that's created the most income that I love out of the things that I do, right? And if you kind of go through and look at the list, you're gonna see some stuff that start looking very familiar. You're like, dang, okay, so most of my job, even though I've done this, like right here has been what's been taking care of my livelihood. So now what happens when you put some creative and some focused attention into that to really get that to where it needs to be? Now you're able to get that going where people are coming to you, and then eventually, I don't know if you have people to help you do what you do, but you can have some people doing that. You don't even have to do all the work. You have so much that's coming to you within that. Then you can kind of branch off and do some of the other things that you love and like to do.
All right. I have thank you so much, Mrs. Chin, for that. Okay, I have a question here from Justin Peters. The first question is, do you charge hourly or per job?
Okay,
that's
so
the first one.
Yes. Okay, so that's a good question too. So typically, if it's a photo shoot, if somebody's doing one look, I charge $300 per look or outfit. If they do multiple looks, if it's somebody that reaches out to me and they're looking to do 3 or 4 looks or something like that, it's more beneficial for them to book me for a half day. For my half day, I start at 1K, and then for my full day, I charge 2K.
Is that US or EC? Remember, we're Eastern Caribbean countries. Is that US or EC? The 1K.
Oh yeah, for
US.
US. US. So US 1,000 US for 4 hours, and then like 2,000 US for a full day. That's up to 8 hours.
Okay.
Yep. So I kind of break it down like that. If somebody's just like a one-off type situation, then I'll. And then the cool thing that you guys can do too. Let's just say if you were charging 300 and somebody was looking to do 2 looks and their budget was like 450, right? And if you decide to take that job, what I normally do, I said, you know what? I will, if I decide to grant that correct request as a first-time client, I will tell them that the full amount is due up front. Because typically I do a 50% deposit and then the balance on the shoot date. But if I give them any kind of incentive pricing, I'll make sure they pay the full amount on the day of booking. So now you give a little, you get a little.
Right.
So you can't, that way you can kind of put the money in your pocket, and obviously they're getting what they want, and obviously you're able to meet their need in that way if you decide to do that.
Okay. And the next question he asked, also, how do you decide on cost for models who are building their portfolio? Let me repeat the question. Also, how do you decide on cost for models who are building their portfolio?
Gotcha. So that's once again just like a really a personal thing that you have to decide for your business. Like I typically start, like I said, at 300 per look. But if it's a situation where they're building and I know that it's a young talent and they're willing to invest in themselves, I will see what I can do to help. So typically what I'll let them know, and this is kind of where you guys can kind of position it. Hey, I'd be happy to see what I can do to help. My rate is this, but if you let me know your budget, I can see what I can do within that. So that way you give them an opportunity to not feel ashamed by giving you a number. And then from there, you can see if that's something that you want to do or not. Because a lot of the times, guys, if you leave it closed-ended, meaning that somebody reach out to you, the worst thing to do is just, hey, what's your prices? I typically don't just send prices right back. I normally start a conversation. Hey, how's it going? Happy to see what I can do to help. Tell me a little bit about what's going on so I can kind of see how I can help put a package together for you. So now I'm opening up the conversation to start to build that rapport so that it's not just sticker shock when I'm, what's your prices? 300. Okay, gone. You don't hear from them again. But now, once I start that conversation via the message, now that gives me an opportunity to kind of get a little clear about what it is that they're needing. And then if I can, I'm always looking to take the conversation offline, right? Because when you think about online and messages, people can, if I'm talking to somebody, they can hear my voice, they can hear my tone, they hear my heart to help. And that way they feel super comfortable. And then obviously we can come into an agreement with somebody that they've never met before. That's kind of the experience that you want to create for people. So within that, like I said, I would just typically, figure out kind of what's your bottom line of what that you need to cover your expenses, and then just make sure that you're able to walk away with a profit that makes sense for the time that you're going to spend with the client on that day, as well as post-production if you're doing any kind of post-production for that client.
Okay. Fashion photographers and their models with the COVID-19, should they use outside, wait, let me make certain I have this correct. In taking the photos outside with models in, say, you can say a rental attire, maybe for a clothing store. What should be the setup for that? Should they, what should be the setup for that?
So what's the question again? I'm sorry.
The fashion photographer and having a model, when they're doing the shoot outside, what would be the best and the safest way for them to capture the clothes without having the business who they rented the clothes from feel that they would have contaminated it with coronavirus?
Gotcha. That's a good question. Once again, I think it comes down to just ensuring that people just kind of doing a check, making sure that everybody is feeling well, taking temperatures, that type of thing. Because ultimately, if you think about it, if somebody actually puts their clothes on, I don't know if they're pulling clothes from a vendor, then I don't, maybe I don't know if there's anything they can spray on the clothes that that might be something that people, some of the stylists might have to run into in terms of pulling stuff and taking it back. A lot of people have changed their policy as it relates to what people can actually return to the stores. So that's probably going to be more of a, a case-by-case scenario with that, with the relationship that you have with, because sometimes the people have like samples where other people have used it, and maybe they can, take it to the dry cleaners if they're not looking to resell it type of deal in that regard.
Okay, for camera cleaning, what do you use?
Alcohol. Yep. So I just kind of put some alcohol on the rag and kind of wipe it down like that.
Okay. Do you have policies of a comprehensive health and safety plan in place of COVID-19? Should this be posted in the environment for all to see? And do you have your clients, well, you already answered that, but the part is the policies of a comprehensive health and safety plan in place of COVID-19?
So I just had a client that asked, hey, what have you implemented with the COVID-19 situation? I kind of told her the same thing, that basically the studio is clean before and after our actual session. And then obviously I wanted to make sure that the people that they were bringing, that they did their safe check, right? Just to make sure the people that's going to be involved in the set is feeling well, so that, we're not putting anybody at risk in that regard. And obviously I have people, if they feel more comfortable with wearing the mask, to, to bring whatever you feel comfortable with. And then obviously just kind of having things in place. I have some trusty Lysol, and these have been far and few in availability, but just like some Clorox wipes. And the funny thing about this, guys, is that, and I don't want to start I don't want to start nothing, but my mom, let me tell you something. I just had this new house built. She bought me a 3-pack of these in September. Why does this mention coronavirus on the back of here? Last year. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, that's a little fishy to me, but that's a whole nother story.
Okay, I have a question from Justin.
Okay.
What does your typical studio setup entail, and what camera or lighting system are you using? Let me repeat that. Okay. What does your typical studio setup entail, and what camera or lighting system are you using?
Gotcha. So let's see. Let me just see if I can't flip this around here. I put up some of the stuff, but let's see if I can show you guys. So I can't see the camera. Let me just turn this around real quick. So this is the sight wall that typically I'm shooting with. And normally I will have a light towards the back here, and then a light in the back over there. So I have like a 3-light setup. Then I have like what's called a parabolic umbrella. Hold on one second. This thing just caught me, guys. Hold on 2 seconds. So it's similar to this, but it's a lot bigger. So I use that overhead typically. I have that on a big boom arm, this boom arm right here, and I'm typically booming this over the person. So I have like a 3-light setup. So this light here is creating some nice soft light in the front. And then obviously the lights with those strip boxes over there in the corner, I have those typically shooting behind. So it's kind of giving them a little highlight on the side of their face, basically. Does that help?
Okay, and can you also, since you're standing, would you be able to give like a little tour where the makeup area is and things, or the waiting area and stuff like that, so person can also see social distancing as well has already been in place even before, but so they have a great idea of it. Your setup.
I got too many cords here plugged up. So I'm a just point in that direction over there.
Yeah.
So that's typically, if you guys,
it's a little blurry. See,
what about now?
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, so that's typically where the makeup and hair goes, like over in this area over here. Straight, typically it's a light over there that they kind of get ready. And then, it's like more of a lounge area up top there. Let me kind of come around this way. where they can kind of come. And then I have another guy. He actually does some cool paintings in here. So for the artists, he's doing this type of stuff in here. So
Mute the mics, mute your mics, guys. Mute your mic, guys. Mute your mic, guys.
See if I can set this back up here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So I hope you guys were able to see that clearly. Okay. All right. Let me see if there's any more questions. Anybody have any questions? Any more questions? That need to ask Corey, or even give any maybe he may have maybe you have an idea as well too that might be working for you. You know, we can also share all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not seeing yet. All right, so okay, so doesn't look so at the current moment. Okay, William, you might have anything that you may want to share, if anything.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you dropped a lot of jewels, Corey. I was making notes because I did participate in a protest. Went down to DC. I had to take advantage of that, man. When I seen that Black Lives Matter stretched out on the street, I told another photographer I work with, like, yo, we got to go over there, man, just to get some shots over there. That was like on a whole nother level. Like the emotion that was there was incredible, because at one point, I don't know if you guys seen this shot. I might share one to Francoise. They had about 8 blocks. The people laid down for 8 minutes. Wow. Can you imagine people for 8 blocks stretched out, laid down for 8 minutes and 46 seconds? It was amazing. Wow. It was amazing, man. It was very emotional. Somebody else is saying something.
Yeah, I'm just. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out when we was talking about taking participation in out in the journalist type of thing. And then you have to be careful when you're out there too, because I know a friend of mine in Los Angeles, he had his camera taken. Like police took his camera. I think they gave him the SD card, or they took the camera, took the SD card out, I think gave him the camera back.
That's crazy.
And so, you know, yeah, that's going on as well. So yeah, you have to definitely be careful out in the streets. There's a whole lot of stuff going on, and you know, that's my main thing, to just basically drop that, just be real careful. And you know, a lot of people consider photography, like you give them a price, they consider it like, you know, everybody want to knock it down. You know what I'm saying? And I like the way you just hold firm on your pricing, because it is a luxury. It really is a luxury that you're offering people, because you know, people don't take pictures anymore. Everything is like on Instagram and everything. But as far as having a nice photo, the young people don't really focus on that part a lot. So.
Yeah, and I think the good thing is that, you know, I think, you know, because of technology, technology has definitely bridged the gap between what you can get from a cell phone and a camera, you know, and I think at the end of the day, like, take advantage of it. You're going to have those people that, you know, that don't want to spend any money. They're cool with the cell phone pictures, and that's cool, because cell phones take great pictures. I can show you stuff I shot on my cell phone. You wouldn't be able to tell if it was from a real camera or not. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's always, once again, it's always going to be a group of people that if they hear somebody taking a phone with a cell phone, they're going to turn their nose up. They're looking for the professional to be able to take care of what they need to get taken care of.
Yeah, definitely. So that's basically it. And was another point I wanted to make. I'll just drop in something. I lost track of it. Let me check my notes. Yeah, I can't even. I write down so much stuff, I just can't even really remember everything. But like I say, you dropped a lot of gems, and that's basically it. Yeah, just stay safe, everybody. You know, it's real up here in the States. It's no joke. I know down in the A, you know, they had a lot of things going on with the brother. So I just want everybody to kind of stay safe. And Francoise, did you guys get that dust storm? Did y'all get that dust storm?
Yes, the Sahara dust. It has really been bad, but today it's okay. I'm looking out. It's okay because I can see St. John's Cathedral clear, very,
Right.
very, very clear. So
Yeah.
it's really good. The other day I had a headache out the blue, and I thought I was the only one when I realized a lot of persons on Facebook were saying they were just having headache. But I think the meteorologist said, I think he said this weekend it's supposed to return again or subside.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's coming up here to the States. Oh, one more thing you guys can do for all of the actors and all, if you have just a regular cell phone, you can shoot your pandemic movie right now. This is the best time to shoot a pandemic movie. You know what I'm saying? Right now, use your lighting, use your cell phone, get people to help. You could actually, you could go to someone's house and never go in, and they can just stand in the door with the mask on. You know what I'm saying? Like you could do the audio later, but you could just have like a pandemic apocalypse movie right now. You know what I'm saying? It won't cost you that much. So that's it. I ain't gonna hold everybody up.
All right. So I think well, I think from what I've gathered, everybody is pretty much clear. Everyone has submitted the questions, and I'm really happy that we had this meeting today. We just went 15 minutes over. It's supposed to be until 1:30. And if anybody wants to maybe may want to drop a question or something to me or even to Corey, you can also see his you can also go on his website and also his Instagram. Sorry, I'm trying to minimize. Sorry. Okay. You can go on his Instagram page, Corey Reese, Reese. Not Reece, Reese. You can go on his page and follow him also on his Facebook page as well. You know, so okay. You know, so at the current moment, okay, just got a question, so I'll answer that privately. All right, but to everyone, thank you, and don't hesitate as well to share the news of what you've learned. I will upload this as well on my business page for others who may like to get informed about it. And I will be uploading another video, an interview. Once I get that clear, that will be with Benetton Films from Thailand. They had dropped some information with regards to filming in the new norm, and I'll keep you all updated on when that will be released. Okay, I have a question here. Let me quickly from Justin. Corey, could you give us your website address, please?
Yep, so CoreyReesePhotography.com.
CoreyReesePhotography.com, one word. Okay, all right. Okay then. All right, so thank you guys. Have a wonderful day, and I'm looking forward, especially you, my photographer films makers here in Antigua. I'm looking forward to see a lot of hotels and businesses hire you guys to do your work, to hire you to do work for them. I really do, because a lot of companies, I must let you know, a lot of companies today will be outsourcing people. All right. So grab hold of the opportunity that you can be one of them, that you can be hired. They're going to contract persons because money right now is a bit steep, and having someone on the marketing team as on a staff, that will be eliminated. So see if you can get yourself as a contracted person to do what lies ahead for you. All right. Okay. Thanks everyone. Be blessed. Take care.
Good day, guys.
Okay. Thanks, Corey.
All right, no problem.
Okay. Bye.